Good morning to the world. It is 7 o'clock. It is time to begin. Before I start the time, I do want to thank everybody who's actually watched the video, whether you watch them live or you go back and watch them later. They're just something I hope can be an inspiration to you. You can take something from it to make your day, your week, your year, your life a whole lot better. And also, too, for those of you who do watch it as it's live, I apologize. I don't look to see who's all chiming in and to give you a shout out because I'm trying to get through with these 8 minutes I have because sometimes they tend to go by fast. But we're going to start our time. We're going to continue talking about ticks where we left off on yesterday. And we talked about how with the tick, small recap, is something small that can cause tremendous damage. It gets on you, gets in you, and it can taint your blood and it can taint your life. And we're going to talk about a couple of external ways of ticks. One is hating to be hated. And I need you to understand in life, when you are destined for greatness, you are destined to be hated. And I need you to embrace the hate, embrace the fact that you're not popular among certain individuals, certain subgroups of individuals, because what they see in you is something greater than what they can see in themselves. And when people choose to hate you, it's not always a reflection on you, but it's a reflection on their own self-insecurities. It's a reflection on the fact they see you doing something they hadn't done. They may have been scared to do it, or God may not have told them to do it anyway, and they're not seeing what they should do in their life. So the best thing for them to see to do is to hate you for what you're doing. And it takes time, especially when some people that they're close to you, it could have been somebody who's groomed you to be where you are. When they start to have those negative feelings towards you, it can cause you to really have some self-doubt about yourself. But I don't need you to despair it any way at all because somebody chooses to hate you based on you being who you were destined to be. Destiny always has haters. And you just got to realize that and not get swayed by the fact that why does this person see me this way? Why do this set of people don't like me? Well, a lot of it has to do with just simple jealousy. And if you don't know how to shake jealousy off, you will never be able to live that ultimate life that is planned for you to live because you will spend too much time on looking at those who hate you, trying to figure out the why. You will spend time and energy trying to make them like you, trying to make them see the good in you that you know is there, but life wasn't designed for that way. You got to chalk it up and say, hey, that's the way you want to be, so be it. I can live with it. And I'm not saying you have to hate them in return. You could still be the most positive person ever in the midst of somebody hating you. As a matter of fact, that should give you fuel to keep doing what you're doing. Because if it can cause them to hate you, eventually they're going to be inspired by you because at some point, something has to click in them because you're not giving them the satisfaction of being on their level. See, when you're really serious about going to the next level, you don't have time to look back at lower levels of individuals. All right. I remember playing the Donkey Kong game with Atari years ago, and the goal was to go to the top. And if you went back to the bottom, you were destined to not win the game. Are you Donkey Kong in your life? Are you really trying to win in the game of life? Or are you spending so much time concentrating on the people who don't like what you're doing to where you're losing sight of what you were designed to do? That's something you don't need to do. You will never be fully liked by everybody. So cheer on your haters. Invite more haters, as a matter of fact. Because the more people who see you doing good, that's more opportunity for people to actually be blessed by it. They don't realize it. You may not realize it at the time, but they could take something from you to help them in their life. And life is all about encouraging somebody else. And you may not set out to encourage them, but if you continue to be positive, continue to make strides, and continue to excel in ways they do not, it doesn't matter who they are and what they have, you can still excel more than some of the greatest names you ever see. Because you have an unstoppable mentality. You have a tick don't bother me, or tick won't stick to me mentality. So that goes into friendship. That goes into kinship. That goes into knowing there are people you cannot carry around who are just flat out dead weight. There are people with no goals. You cannot continue to carry them. There are those who claim to have your back. You can't continue to carry them because what it's going to do is it's going to cause you to fall backward and you're not going to progress in the way you should. So get rid of the dead weights in your life. Tick is virtually something dead weight because it's not moving. Not a lot anyway. It's sucking out of you. It's not helping you to go forward. And there are people you're going to have to just get used to it and say, you know what? My time is up with this person. We've had a good run. We've had a good relationship. And what we don't want to do is to acknowledge who that person is. It could be a parent. Yes, it could be a child. It could be a sibling. It could be a spouse. Yeah, there are some spouses who are haters. But even regardless of who it is, you got to get to a place where you start to detach yourself from it. If you don't detach a tick, you're going to get killed. And personally in your life, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, if you don't detach from these type people, they're going to put something in you that's going to cause you to start crawling, and eventually you're going to slow down and stop, period. What's the point in living a life of purpose if all you're going to do is stop? You can't live a life of purpose that way. So that also goes into holding on to those who continually hurt you. And you know what? Some of them are very proud of it. They're glad to be able to say they stung you like a bee. They're glad to be able to say they hit you with a good punch. But even with those who hit you with a good punch, again, take the punch and keep going. It doesn't mean you have to sit there. If I were to get paid to get in the ring with Mike Tyson, the last thing I want to do is stand there. Especially if I know I got to go the distance, I'm going to try to run as much as I can. I mean, I hope to get him tired because he's trying to get me. I'm trying to get the goal. The goal is to get the pay I have agreed to without getting hurt up so bad. So when people continually hurt us, why do we just stand there and allow it to happen? Why do we do that? Because, see, there's something about ourselves that we feel like we are supposed to take that. No, you're not supposed to take no junk from anybody. No, you weren't designed to do that. You weren't designed to just sit and be somebody's punching bag because they have no dreams, they have no aspiration, they have no self-love for themselves. You're built better than that. And I will say that over and over again. And I need you to look in the mirror and say, I am built better than that. You're not meant for that. Okay? Now, that also goes into holding on to lies about you from flattering lips. When people lie on you, then again, it goes, all this ties in together. There's something they see in you they don't see about themselves, and all they know how to do is to try to break you down. A tick will break you down if you let it stay there long enough. And when you start taking in what people say when you know it's a lie, you can smile when you know somebody's lying on you. It may not feel good, it may not feel comfortable, but in a matter of time, if you don't start acting erratic about it, the truth always has to come out, and that tick will get released when the truth starts to prevail. All right, last point, being everything to everybody. This is a killer. And far too many times we do it because we think it's harmless. We think it's okay. Well, I'm just going to do this for them. I'm just going to do that, this and that. In a small way turns into this and that in a big way. And we have to learn who we can do for, who we should do for. And obviously that is not any and everybody. There's some people you are not supposed to help in your life. I need you to get that in your mind. You may think you are supposed to, but you're not. It wasn't designed for you to help them. They're a project for somebody else, or they are designed to be a project strictly for themselves. So sometimes it takes that self-help before anybody else could do anything for you. And another thought before my time is up. Understand the people who you need and don't need in your life. Now, I grew up, and I know you all heard it. Don't never say you don't need anybody. Understand this. The Bible tell me that, so I can say who I don't need. And no, I don't need everybody. The people who are designed to help me and I'm designed to help, we'll all fall into place as we need to. So don't be afraid to look at somebody and say, you know what? I don't need that person. Okay, that person is a cancer. That person is a sickness. That person is a plague. And if I allow them too much into my internal life, they're going to eventually harm me. So don't be afraid to look and say, I don't need certain people, because you don't. Hope you've been blessed today. We'll see you next week. And as I always say, make today your story, or tomorrow it will be somebody else's glory. My time is up. Have a knockout day.